happy today to you, Dan? You know the man.
I think that by his own comments, he was relieved that he had made the decision, but then when the finality of it started to sit on him a little bit, he got a little emotional. 28 years is a long time, and I think that he'll grieve the loss of St. Louis a little bit. Of course, so will we, unfortunately. And after weeks of virtually no comment, Big Red owner Bill Bidwell finally made the comment that most of us didn't want to hear. Bidwell announced late this morning that the football Cardinals are leaving St. Louis for Phoenix, Arizona, and they'll play their 88 home games at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. Bidwell had just finished a meeting with NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle in New York when he broke the news.
The sports fans of St. Louis have supported the Cardinals very well. I don't have a single complaint about that. We just didn't have a chance to really be competitive in that small.
And so, if 75% of the NFL owners approve the proposed franchise shift, the Big Red will become the Arizona Cardinals. And while the players living in the St. Louis area are not going to relish the thought of moving, our Cynthia Tepp reports that most are relieved that the suspense, is finally over.
I feel like this is more or less like trading 55 guys to another city, so we'll all have to pick up our bags and move west and try to start over there.
The emotional roller coaster is over for the Big Red players. They saw the empty stands and knew about the political volleyball being played. Today's announcement, not unexpected.
We had a team meeting and he spoke to us and said, Neil had asked, should we buy a house? And he said, don't buy the house. And we kind of had an idea, but he really didn't make the commitment till today.
Die-hard fans may be upset and the players can sympathize, but they know the NFL is a business, and most of the Big Reds support their owner's decision to leave town. Most also feel the move could have been prevented.
It was indicated 3 years ago that it might come down to this, but yet it was the last couple of days where really a strong effort was made to keep us here. And that was probably more disappointing than anything.
The bright blue Arizona skies and 70,000-seat Sun Devil Stadium are now home to the Cardinals. Of all the rumored sites, Phoenix was a player favorite.
Because of the warm climate and the grass facilities that they will have there. And, you know, anytime you can go and practice and have good weather, that definitely helps your football team. I would have liked to stay to give the fans that playoff game and maybe to continue and challenge for the Super Bowl. It's not going to happen. I don't have any control over it. You know, we'll have to do it in Phoenix next year.
Cynthia Tepp, News 4, St. Louis.
Gene Stallings held the final edition of the St. Louis football Cardinals together through this season of uncertainty, and our Gary Apple has the coach's point of view on the move west.
When Gene Stallings walked onto the Cardinals sidelines 2 years ago, the play on the field was in disarray. He's done his part, though, to straighten that out, and along the way, he has melted his way into the hearts of Cardinal fans. But like the rest of the Big Red now, he is on his way out, but not to his surprise.
I felt like all along, at least for the past 2 or 3 weeks, that we were going to leave. I didn't know where.
And of course, we all know now it is Arizona, and Gene will be the first to admit that maybe the local leaders blew it.
If I were going to guess, I'd say they probably got started a little late. Maybe if they'd made the same offer to Mr. Budwell this time last year, it would have been no move. But, you know, that's just strictly speculation.
You know, when you talk about speculation, it's already being talked about. Will the owners approve the franchise move? According to the coach, there are no questions in his mind.
Mr. Budwell, I think, has done everything the way that the book says do it. He's tried to keep people informed who were in position, and I'm sure he's doing it exactly the way they suggest do it. So I'm sure they'll approve it.
As for St. Louis, Gene said today he will indeed miss it. But as a pro, he knows he has to move on.
I've enjoyed St. Louis. I've said that over and over and over. But I'm looking forward to going to Phoenix. That's where our football team is.
With Coach Stallings, I'm Gary Apple, News 4 Sports.
I think what we can look forward to now is a whole lot of finger-pointing. I think people are going to start saying it's Mayor Shamel's fault, maybe Gene McNary's, Governor Ashcroft for getting in late. That's really not going to accomplish much of anything. What the St. Louis community has to do right now is concern themselves with getting an expansion franchise. What do we have to do? Someone has to step forward and say, I'll be the party to try to pull this together, petition the league. We're already behind towns like Baltimore and Memphis and Jacksonville, teams that want an expansion franchise. If we want one here in St. Louis, we better get to work and get to work quickly. What's next as far as the NFL is concerned? Well, the owners are scheduled to meet March 14th, and of all places, Phoenix, Arizona. A vote on the franchise move will most likely take place at that time. And in the meantime, Commissioner Pete Rozelle and his NFL staff have some work to do.
Evaluating the Phoenix situations against the situation in St. Louis and determining whether there's justification for agreeing to the move.
And the one thing we should keep in mind, listening to the commissioner right there will be a vote, but I don't think there's any question about it. Bill Bidwell had those votes in his back pocket before he ever made this decision. Fellas, I think even as far back as March, he had polled the other owners at a league meeting out in Hawaii, came out of that meeting knowing that if he decided to move, he had their permission.
Now, the NFL does not like corporate ownership, and even though Anheuser-Busch is a big advertiser on football games and sports events, I don't think they have enough power to get this done somehow.
No, the NFL is a believer in having a singular individual, the guy that's responsible. Now, what they've done because of the high cost of these franchises is they have gone to general partnerships, such as in Dallas, where Bum Bright, say, is the managing general partner. But no, they do not like corporate ownership at all. Right. Interesting enough, I'll throw you with one other thing here. There was a proposal in the NFL to allow corporate ownership. It's on the table. Guess who proposed it? Bill Bidwell.
Oh!
Bill Bidwell.
All right.